2020, what a year. The year the Democrats blew up their party. Welcome, everybody. Kevin Jackson here. Got to tell you, as I think about this 2020, the year that is supposed to give all of us vision. Why? Because we all know what 2020 is. It means you have perfect vision. And I think in this strange sort of cosmic way, Donald Trump is going to give you perfect vision. He's going to give you insights. He's going to give you transparencies, and it's going to be the demise of the Democrats. There are people out there that don't believe it. They're saying it's impossible. He can't fight and win. That's not Trump. Trump's a winner. And there's something to be said for having won many times before. You know why they'll take a veteran player and they'll put him on a team full of rookies when he's at the end of his career? Not because they're trying to milk the last little bit out. They hope to get something out of him, but they really want that veteran on the team, particularly if the veteran is a winner. It's come from winning franchises, is because he'll teach the younger players how to be winners. That's essentially what I'm trying to do. I don't like losing. The only thing I hate worse than not winning is losing. So I'm one of these people that says, I know how to win. I'm going to teach you how to win. When people listen to my radio show, whether they're watching me on these KEV talks, whether they hear me on other people's media, it's all about positivity. It's about how do you have the idea of a winner. I've got a KEV talk. I'll talk to you about one of my friends. He was a martial artist. And it's an amazing story that I got so much insight when I kept calling him, and he's after training him personally in the martial arts, and he kept telling me he was losing tournaments, losing fights. And I go, I don't get it. You have to wait for the KEV talk for that. Anyway, back to 2020. Many Americans are going to look back at this year, when the clock turns January 1st on the following year, the year of our Lord and the second term of Donald Trump. And you're going to say, what in the hell was I thinking? What made me decide that the government could tell me I'm going to quarantine? I'm going to do it myself. I don't even need troops to take me to the concentration camp. I'm just going to go. Now, maybe you were easier to go to the concentration camp because you had a little food there. You had TV, you had cable, you had the necessities of life, even though you were missing toilet paper, but you decided I'll put myself in my own concentration camp. I was self-enslaved. And then not only did you self-enslave, you even took on the educating of your own children. Yeah, you took your little crumb snatchers back from school where you pay taxes, and for, I don't know, the better part of a semester, if not an entire semester, if not maybe a year, you were the one responsible for teaching that little hooligan math and arithmetic and reading and writing and sex ed and all that. I don't know. Did you sexualize your own kid with this sexualization stuff they teach by putting condoms on bananas? I don't know if you did. I didn't. I actually took my kid away from the topics that they said, and I had him learning calculus in the 7th grade, and he wasn't very happy about it, but he is in the 8th grade because he's ahead of his peers. Anyway, I digress. 2020. Self-imprisonment, self-confinement, self-enslavement, call it whatever you want, you did it. Then these clowns got you to wear a stupid mask over a disease that has an effectiveness of killing people that makes it very suspect in the disease world. Diseases look at COVID and go, so you say you kill people. Why you only kill the older ones? And speaking of COVID being very selective, this weaponized virus, if you want to call it, made in a lab, it is very selective. They were telling us it killed Black people, and I made the argument that why ain't it killing all these Black people in Africa? They ain't dying of COVID. So they dropped that one. But it is killing a very interesting group of people. See, COVID is killing old folks and those with underlying conditions. Now, the Democrats won't tell you this. What's that? What? Yeah, y'all ain't gonna tell me, right? Yeah, the Democrats won't tell you this, but COVID is as selective as the Democrats and the New World Order want, because it's killing off the dregs of society. See, that's what they used to call Black folks. That's what they used to call very poor immigrants. They called them the dregs of society. Margaret Sanger, the woman who started Planned Parenthood, what became Planned Parenthood, she had the Negro Project that said, keep just enough of them clowns around that can serve us, but that's it. Let's get pastors, let's get the Congressional Black Circus and the Jesse Jacksons of the world to wrangle all these silly Black folks into doing our bidding, and we'll keep them down. And let's limit their numbers. But what they really want to limit, and Cuomo is a perfect example, Mr. Emmy Award-winning Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, he was overjoyed to kill those old people in those old folks' homes. You want to know why? Bottom line of New York City. Those sick old people cost that man over $1 billion a year in the budget. De Blasio wasn't complaining when Cuomo released the crack in these old folks' homes. He was happy. Why do you think they're giving him an Emmy? If he figured out a way to sell those old folks as vegan food, he would get a Nobel Peace Prize, because leftists love killing those that they don't need, that are a burden to society. But you know why they keep us around? You know why they allow us to have our guns? Because we feel like we're in power. And we'll keep working, and we'll keep supporting the old NRA, and we'll do all this stuff, and they'll go, let them do it. Let them have their guns, and let them have part of their First Amendment. Just don't say the N-word. And then we think look at us, boy, we're fighting for our freedoms. But these suckers are making us work. We're working at twice the rate of leftists, maybe more, because you're programmed to work. You didn't know that. You are programmed to you see something wrong and you fix it. Like, there's a smudge here. Sorry, I gotta fix that. You are programmed as a conservative to say, well, who else is gonna tend those fields? Who else is gonna make old Ma some boots? Who else gonna shoe old, whatever you call your horse, old Wilbur? Who's gonna shoe Wilbur? Who's gonna do whatever around the farm, around whatever? That's what you do. You get up. You've been doing this from the frontier days, and you were used to hard work, and you didn't care about education. You drew yourself towards the education based on what you were good at. If you were a cobbler, you didn't go work in the metal. You didn't try to shoe horses, and vice versa. Doc, the guy who ran around making house calls, he sucked at shoeing horses. He would have starved to death if that was his career. But old Doc came around with his laudanum, and he made many people feel good. Dr. Feel Good. So we were drawn to the things that made us good. And our circumstances pretty much made it that you better find out what you're good at. And back in the frontier days, they didn't tolerate lazy. If you'd have said, I want a fair raise for doing no work, they'd have dug a hole for you. But nowadays, this is where we are. We have 73% of college kids who graduate and don't use their degrees. They've paid tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, or they've gotten your money, our money, and they've squandered their degree, not even going to use it. So what does that mean? 27% of kids who go to college know what they want to do. They get the degree they want, and they go out and they do it. Now, what happens to these other 73%? Not all of them, but some of them. They go to college, they think, I want to be an accountant, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be an engineer, whatever. They can't hack it. They would have been better off, being a restoration artist somewhere, or who knows, could have picked a whole different career, but they didn't. So they go to work in some menial job. They're like, oh man, I got to take this job, which isn't my career job, but I got to take it. So they take the career job, whatever it is, closely related to their career, that, but can't call it their degree plan, and they have to start at the bottom. And I don't mean where their normal career starts at $45,000 a year, 50 or 60,000. No, they got to start at 28 or whatever it is. And then they want to complain, see, because they're not happy. They're not happy. They're not happy because they didn't even know how to start out happy by knowing what degree they wanted, going to college, getting anything close to that, get that degree, go start doing what you're doing, branch off from the capitalist pig that hired you, and go become his competitor or do something better than he or she. They can't do that. They can't even fathom that. Their brains are pea-sized. They're the size of Biden's, naughty bits. So they're disenfranchised. They're unhappy. What does the Constitution say you should pursue? Life, liberty, and the pursuit of, well, the thing, right? Happiness. But if you don't know what you want to do in life, how can you get happy? How can you be happy? You, us, we, conservatives, we may start off, we may be in that bunch that's in the 73%. But you know what we do? We figure it out. We say, you know what? I thought I liked that, but I don't. I'm going to make a transition. And you know what you do? You don't complain. You just say, I'm not going to make as much money as I thought I was. I'm starting over at the age of 32 or 38, but I'm going to put in my time. I'm going to put in my 3 years. I'm going to become an apprentice. I'm going to watch other people do it. I'm going to look at some YouTubes or whatever. And eventually, 4, 5, 6 years later, you're working for yourself. You got more time to cuddle with mama. You got more time to spend with them childrens. You are ready to rock and roll. And you're not complaining. You didn't complain the whole time. And you know what the left is doing? They're plotting, how do I suck more money out of that sucker who dare pick the right degree or change his life so he could do the right, get the right job, something that he loves doing, and we'll get him. We'll suck every dollar from him. And that's what they do. They don't want you to be happy. The system is set up for you not to be happy. So let's segue into these Wuflu numbers. Lies, lies, and more lies. Not nearly the number of people who have died. 50,000 most. The flu is a much bigger killer than this disease. And I'll tell you this, for those of you who are still Wuflu fanatics, here's the thing I'll bet you. I'll bet you I can prove that the flu is much more dangerous, if you will, than Wuflu, and I'll do it right now. And if you can refute it, please contact me. There's a way to contact me somewhere on here. I don't know where. Why is it my job to tell you where? Anyway, it's somewhere here, bottom right corner. If I'm going to prove to you that the flu is worse, and here's my contention. With the Wuflu, you can be, and here's the famous word, asymptomatic. You can have the version of the biologically engineered Chinese flu and not even know it. Have you ever met anybody, if you ever had the flu or met anybody that said, I had the flu the other day, but all that happened was I lost my sense of taste, or I lost my sense of smell, or whatever. Or like Donald Trump Jr. said, I didn't even know I had it. I was going to my son's event, and then I took a test, and they told me I had it. So I'm gonna quarantine just to be on the safe side. But whatever, I don't know if that's a good Donald Trump Jr., but you get what I'm saying. He didn't even know he had it. Millions of people walking around with the deadly virus of Wuflu, and they don't even know they have it. That's how dangerous it is. Do you think you could be walking around with a virus that deadly that is making people drop, that's causing us to shut down restaurants and not let us go into movie theaters and all these other things that you've been doing for decades? You've been going to movie theaters. You've been going to concerts. You've been going to sporting events with enclosed domes. You've been going to your child's recitals and all these things with people breathing the same old nasty, funky air as you've been breathing your whole life. And suddenly a disease that you don't even know you have is more deadly, and you got to quarantine and shut down your business. Now, look, if you want to fall for that with these crazy ass leftists, that's up to you. But I'm not falling for it. Show me somebody who gets the flu and their symptoms are, I didn't even know I had it. It was amazing, man. I didn't even take any time off work. Because let me tell you what the flu does. The flu kicks your monkey butt is what the flu does. When you get the flu, you're like, oh, geez, I'm getting sick. Oh, man, oh, no. Tell me it ain't the flu. Tell me it ain't the flu, Lord. And you just, oh, Lord, it ain't the flu. I hope it ain't the flu. And it's the flu. And then you go, shoot, because you know that you're about to be on a ride, right? You're going to lose some weight. I used to lose 15 pounds every time I got the flu. You're going to, I mean, it's going to kick your butt. That's the best case. Worst case, dude, we're gathered here because old Fred, he was a good boy. You know, it'll kill you. It kills 80,000 people a year, legit. Not 2 bullets to the head. Not he got ran over by a car and we tested him for the flu, so he died with the flu. And you don't get any extra money from dying with the flu. And as I've learned, you can have your regular surgery canceled because you don't test positive for the Wuflu, even though you're asymptomatic. It's insane. And Biden and all these people want to implement, they want to use this stupid disease. They want to use this virus as a reason to do what Trudeau said in a video. Here's Trudeau saying it.
We need to work together, and not just on vaccines. Canada believes that a strong, coordinated response across the world and across sectors is essential. This pandemic has provided an opportunity for a reset.
Now, Trudeau spills the beans, but every liberal on the planet is telling you, this is a reset. This will allow us to reset and address global climate change, and we can work on equality of finances for people around the world and all this other stuff. Let me help Trudeau with climate change. Okay, it's weather. Let me help him with people helping themselves with financial gain or whatever. If you live in a country where you don't have the opportunity of America, sorry, your DNA was formed over there and not on terra firma here in America. But if you live in America and you're complaining about a job or opportunity, you're a lazy ass. That's what you are. And if you're black and you're complaining about it, you're just a black lazy ass. Because at the end of the day, America gives you what you want. Going back to what I said about education and all these other things, I'll tell you this, you don't need the education that you're getting in order to be a success in this life. I don't know what God gifted you with. For the 16, 19 folks that say if you're born black, you're born with a disadvantage. I call you guys the biggest racists on the planet because I was born black and I never thought I was disadvantaged. Never. Having a mother who died before I was 5 and a father who went to prison, raised by grandparents who were Democrats, and despite their politics, they would never let me believe, nor would I have believed, that my life was not as important as anybody else's on the planet. Try to put your hand over my nose and my mouth for 30 seconds and see how well I fight for it. You get what I'm saying? So I never believed the nonsense. So for somebody to believe that you're born white, you've got privilege over me, you need a self-esteem lesson. That's what you need. You need somebody to say, oh, poor thing. No, you're good. Go look at the affirmations. Go get some, whatever the guy's name, they used to do all those seminars, and get some people to tell you you're good. But I don't need it. See, I already know. So how about we just understand that if you want something out of life, you can get it. It's there for you to take it in America. I ain't speaking about these other countries, but here you can get whatever you want. And that's what they should be teaching. They shouldn't be demoralizing blacks by talking about, yeah, man, we got institutional racism. And by the way, if you ever hear the term institutional racism, just think leftist, think Democrat. They're the ones with institutional racism because there is nothing. The only institutional racism, institutional stopism is the person in the mirror when you look. It's you. So we got to get beyond this, and it's up to conservatives to push back on this stuff. I tell people all the time that say to me, Kevin, I can't say what you say because I'm not white. Then stop talking white. No, I'm just kidding. You can say it. There are days I wish I was white because you know what I would say? I would say to black people, I'm not your problem. I've never caused you a problem in your life. If you want to believe that you're less than me, that's on you. You're just a sucker. Somebody didn't give you enough, head pats when you were younger or hugged you enough or tell you they love you, but it ain't my fault because I don't have to tell you I love you. I don't have to like you. In fact, I could detest you, but whatever I feel about you, it has nothing about what you're able to achieve in this life. Oprah Winfrey overcame rape by uncles and all kinds of stuff to become a mogul. Tyler Perry, he was molested as a child. Maybe you should just get molested. I don't know, but whatever you need to do Stop complaining and blaming other people like white folks. We got nothing to do with your problems. You want to talk about institutional racism? I'd look at the congressional black circus clowns. I'd look at the aldermen that you report to. I'd look at your city mayor, your city council. I'd look at all of them. I would look at the Democrat Party because I wouldn't be looking at white folks. Generally speaking, most black folks don't have enough interaction with white folks to say grace over. So why are you blaming us for everything? We're not the ones running through your neighborhood, getting your daughters pregnant, beating up and killing your young men, gang banging, drug dealing, etc. If you see a white person in your neighborhood, it's a crackhead buying from one of your thugs. So don't be blaming white folks. Now, that's what I would say to white folks. That's what I would say to black folks if I was white. And I would be prepared to accept the repercussions the same way I accepted them from Fox News when I was fired for calling the Kavanaugh accusers lying skanks, or tweeting it. I didn't say it, but I tweeted it. I'm saying it now. They are lying skanks and they need to be. Exactly. I'm out. Because of you, we blew through that first 1,000. Now we're way above that. We're shooting for the stratosphere. I can't thank you enough for your support. So please keep watching KEV Talks. Share them with others. Don't be a hog. Let other people know. These can be shared. It's not that big of a deal. You don't lose anything. Anyway, thanks again.